Sonafood Memories is hereby unraveling wisdom bites from an unusual octogenarian, a wisdom-packed documentation of the history of a living legend, a great mentor of great leaders, a visionary leader, a loving husband, an influential dad, and of course, a philanthropist to the core, whose simple lifestyle is becoming almost incredible in today's world. Justice George Oladeinde Shoremi, JCA, FICMC, JP, Retired Justice, Court of Appeal, Benin Division, and Grand Commander, Order of Aladura Churches worldwide.
I am George Oladeinde Shoremi. By birth, by the grace of God, I grew up to be in the civil service, became a permanent secretary, Assistant General Minister of Justice, became a judge of the High Court of Ogun State, and ended up at the Court of Appeal as the presiding justice of the Court of Appeal, Benin. So that is why I have JCA, FICMC, JP after my names.
Wisdom from my parents.
I was born to the families of my very good late father, Pa Emmanuel Akobi Shoremi, and to my mother, popularly called Yakaduna Christiana Shoremi, who happened to be Miss George from Oba. She came from a very, very influential, exposed family. My father happens to be a product of a Muslim house. But by the time he was to go to school, he was given the name Emmanuel. So he became Emmanuel Akobi Shoremi. Originally, his name was Sule, from Ikereku in Ojuolona, in Abeokuta here. The family house is behind Holy Trinity Church in Ikereku. When I was born to him, he was living in Ekotedo. So eventually I was born in Ekotedo, in Idioro. And funny enough, my mother also came from Ekotedo in the George family. How they met, I did not ask, and I was not privileged to know. But I know it must have been because of the closeness of the area, and my wife was supposed to be the first wife. My father could not be said to be an illiterate because he read standard 6 of those days, and he had good cursive writing, so he was an enlightened man. So that gave me the privilege of early education. In those days, schools belonged to missionaries, and I happened to attend African Church Primary School in Ekotedo. That is the school that you will find the children of many enlightened people in that area. And up to today, we still know ourselves. Many became judges, many became good politicians, many became chairmen of corporations. Ekotedo is notorious for so many things. It's like Lagos of that time. So we had the good, the bad, and the ugly. So I had early education in Ebenezer in 1947 when I entered the school. At that time, you have to stretch your hand to touch the other ear before you are allowed to go to school. But my father had an advantage. He was a storekeeper at the CFAO, a French company. Storekeeping is at the groceries. So 42 to 45 was the Second World War. So he had the advantage of having good things of life. Because when you work with these white people, it was a French company, we had weekly allocation of sardine, salted fish, butter, and all assorted kinds of drinks. Invariably, teachers would come to his house in the evening to enjoy themselves. That's how I was able to go into school as early as 1947. 42 for 47 will give you about how many years? I don't think 5 instead of 6. But you're going to school does not mean you are registered. They put you in one class. And at that time, you have to go through what they call 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. That's 4 years before you even start standard 1. Fortunately, I went through that. I was there till 1951, 52. My father's house in Atonireke, when we parked Atonireke, is about 5 minutes to the court, Atonireke Magistrate Court. So instead of going to school straight, I first of all go to the court to watch proceedings. Sometimes I was carried away, I would not be in school. Fortunately, whether your teachers are coming to your house or not, they found it difficult. They didn't know in time. But by the time they knew, I was already expelled from school. My father has a punishment for that. He didn't beat me. He just left me in the house. So, the whole of 1952, I didn't remember that I went to school. But early in the morning, you will go to fetch water for others, your juniors that are going to school. They will have their breakfast and go to school before you have your own breakfast. And they will leave the place for you to wash. Then I studied this man. I said, oh, okay, I have a trick for him. So one day, before the end of 1952, I prostrated for him, and I said, Daddy, I still want to go back to school. He looked at me. He said, yes. Are you serious? I said, yes. I want to go back to school. Then he said, that's all right. I thought he was going to take me back to Ebenezer African Church Primary School, where I've already got into standard 2. I still remember my very good teacher, Mr. Adeluga. I saw him even after I became a lawyer. We were still friends. He died there not too long ago. He begged my father on my behalf. My father decided to send me back to school, but now in a different way. He just called me in the night one day and said, Dende, sir, you'll be going to Osogbo tomorrow. Go and get your things ready. Then I got my box, which was made of wood, planks, heavy one. Got my few shirts, one of my shoes, and he just handed me a letter. Give it to. There's a grandmother that we have. We call her Mama Osogbo. I remember her name again, but Mama Osogbo was the popular one. She lives at Afronta in Osogbo. So my father wrote a letter and gave it to me. Gave me money to go to the railway station, which is not too far to us. So I took the letter. The following morning, I was in the train, not knowing to where I was going to. Like Abraham was told to leave his place. I didn't know Shogbo. But he said, immediately I get to Shogbo, just go down and ask for Iyafonta. I got there safely. It was train, very beautiful ride. I got to Shogbo. And I was welcomed into the house. I saw Mama. I saw the grandma. Smiling, looking very well fed. I saw some of my junior brothers there too, born of different fathers, but of the same family. So they welcome. I also saw many, what you call housemates now. I think they were house help. I saw so many activities going on. Some people carrying ogede, plantain, bananas. I saw some people preparing, collecting eko and memory, different ways to sell. As I said, Mama they read the letter to her and asked me, how's Akobi? That's my father. How's Mommy? My mother. I said, they are fine. Jidengo, that's my brother. I said, he's fine. Jidengo, he asked for everybody. And I saw them pouring kerosene into this 12-hole box with beer bottles. When the filling of the bottles got to about 10, it contains 12. Mama said, Dainde, Azema, he said, that's for you. You have to go and hawk and come back. What? I felt like collapsing because in Ibadan, where I come from, my father would not even allow you to go to the kitchen as a boy, not to talk of hawking. You will go on errands, even for people in the area, but not hawking. Hawking, how do I start hawking? I said, Mama, I was looking for excuses like Moses. I said, but I don't know anyways. That's no problem. Just go around. When you get lost, tell them you are looking for Mama Fonta. They will bring you back. What can I sell again? I said, I don't know how to advertise kerosene. He said, no, they are not blind. They see that you are selling kerosene, they will call you. I was unable to weep. Normally, I don't normally weep. I don't cry. But not that I don't have feelings. I said, well, this must be what I deserve, having run away from comfort. Because it is a house that you will hear the sound of radio, the big radio. It's my father's house that you will have television. It's my father's house that people come every weekend to come and drink and eat. Now, then you are now hawking kerosene. This was too much for me, but I knew I was going to take it because I think I deserve it. And that if I still want to achieve my aim in life, I have to go through it. When you enter into a school, in the primary school, we are paying £1.4 a quarter. We don't have times there. We have quarter. That's four quarters in a year. January to March, April to June, July to August, September to December. We pay £1.4. That's equivalent of is it 20? Less than 20 naira. The first day, my father will give you your school fees. A Friday before that time, he will give you the money for your list. You see, when we get lists of books from school, the prices are already there from school. We got into secondary school before we started to add Nigerian geography by shoe. It means you want to buy shoe. And Nigerian economics by sandal. You want to buy sandal. So I learned that from my father. And the love of children. I come from a polygamous home. All the children are treated the same way. You won't know the difference. I can boldly say that because later my mother left my father, leaving me and my senior brother. The next person to me, by another woman, my brother Tunde Shoremi. He lives at Arakonga, he has a building there. The mother also left. But you will not see the difference in us that our mother was not there. I remember that even the wives that are at home cannot just send you on just the day you are going to school. Even up to my university level, you will get your school fees. The same thing for all the children. No? The only difficulty is that he will ask you, how many years are you spending in that school? 5 years, sir. You will say, okay, that's all right. After 5 years, if you don't pass out, you must look for money to pay for your fees. Unless you want to progress. That's what I learned from him. And again, my father taught us to be honest. He taught us not to borrow money from anybody. In fact, when he was old, I was a judge before he died. He would say, Justice, the day I die, don't borrow money to bury me. Spend what you have, no more, no less. Again, when I became a state council, after 4 years as a legal practitioner outside, we are still coming to that. I came to look for him at Abeokuta. My first case in Abeokuta as a state council. My father did not actually receive me the way he used to receive me. The way he used to receive me is to buy a father for me with a bottle of stout. This time, he didn't buy a father. He didn't buy stout. He was looking at me. Then I challenged him, Daddy, where's my father? He said, look, we have to talk before the father. You know, he told me, he said, you know you are a private practitioner. As a private practitioner, you have money. You are expecting money. You spend your money daily. Now you are on a salary. Please, I want you to decide here and now. If you want to stay in the civil service, there's no money, but there's a name. If you cannot cope, tell me you want to resign today. If you are not resigning, between me and you are going to take an oath that you will maintain the good name that I was trying to pass to you. At that time, it was a cocoa merchant. It was a cocoa merchant. You know, it was buying cocoa for Rantry Fried Cadbury. Those people are making Bonvita. The Europeans were the owners of the company. They will pay my father in advance. We used to see it, good pounds, good money. I don't know whether we were taking some without his knowledge. Maybe some pranks. But this is a man that would never touch this money. There was a time I remember very well that somebody stole the money from him, or that he paid in advance to farmers and no cocoa was coming. His principals, who are white men, supported him. They said, no, Mr. Emmanuel Shoremi will never steal your money. So they didn't involve the police. That's my father for you. And I remember too when he was building his house in Atonereke, we were clerks to him, taking stock of number of cement used, number of stones gathered. He was a detailed man. He would give every account of his transactions. When I look into his diary after his death, he was a man of details. He would tell me, he would write down his actions and why he took that action. He's so much blood does that he's always wanting to, that nothing happens to us. Loving man. You will never know the difference between me and my other siblings. You will think we have the same mother or the same father. He still has a wife that is alive. The woman is almost 100 now. They still take me as the head of the family, as the husband, as everything, even all the siblings. They still take me. That's what he planted for us. And nobody fought over his property. What property did he have? One building in Lagos, where we buried him. One building in Ibadan. So there's nothing to fight for. Nothing. So we are still very close to today.
If elders could bequeath their experience and knowledge of life to children without the children making any mistakes, they would save them from a lifetime of heartaches. Nena Ish Brar. Wisdom from my parents.